Well, we're back for the second half of the show, and we have another guest. This is a person I met many years ago at Toastmasters. It seems I met so many people at Toastmasters, so she's just another one. Well, I don't mean it just, but she has an interesting, a list of things that she's done in her life and is still doing. I would like you to meet my friend, Cora Price. Cora!
Hi.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Love your hair.
Oh, love yours. So, please have a seat.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks again for joining me.
My pleasure.
Well, us, because the viewers, right?
Yes.
I read your resume, your bio. I was going to say resume. It's kind of like a resume, but your bio.
Short form.
Yes, and you mentioned gathering no moss.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you better explain to everybody what you're talking about.
Well, I tend to be a bit of a busy person. I like keeping active, and that means doing many different things.
Such as?
Such as, I have a blues society that I founded, and we hold regular ticketed events with musicians and bands, and we also have a jam session we hold once a month.
Back up a minute. You started it?
I started it, yes.
Oh, when did you start that?
In October 2013, I was complaining to my husband about not having any local live music to go enjoy, and having to travel to Vancouver and Washington State. And I just turned to him and said, I guess I got to stop complaining and just do something about it. So that's how it all started.
Oh, okay. So now where does this happen?
It happens for the most part, in Abbotsford. Most of our events are held at the Eagles Hall on Essendine in the old downtown area of Abbotsford. We have a couple of other venues we have held events at, but the Eagles Hall has a good feel to it and a good sound, so we tend to stick to there pretty close.
Now, you mentioned your husband. His name is
Yes.
Bill, right? Because
That's
I have
right,
met
Bill.
him. Does he help out with this at all?
Oh, yes. I couldn't do this alone. In fact, there's way more than just Bill that helps me out. We have a membership and a board and volunteers, and all of them combined create what we've got going on, which is something really wonderful. But Bill has been my go-to, I guess you could call it. I love him in that he will do whatever I ask him to do, which not many spouses will necessarily do that, but he's been very, very supportive and very good that way.
Now, I went to an event.
Yes. It was a fundraiser.
Right.
It was a Halloween party fundraiser for a band and a duo act that we sent recently down to Memphis, Tennessee to compete in the International Blues Challenge. So Bill and I got to go as well. It wasn't supposed to work out that way. I had a board member that was actually doing most of the organizing, and he was supposed to go down, but as it ended up, he couldn't because of medical reasons. So we ended up going down, and that was at the end of January, beginning of February, and it was a one-week trip.
Wow. Now, how did they do at the event?
Well, our duo act got into the semifinals, which was awesome because there is like 240 bands and duos competing. This is not a small event, it's a very large event. It was their 33rd year, and there are people competing from all over the world. So our duo act did very well. Our band, however, the main fellow, who is James, oh my goodness,
I remember I was there, I saw him. Well,
yes, I want to say his drummer's name, which is also James. Anyway, I will come back to that. He ended up getting sick, as did Bill and I when we were down there. Many people this year, due to the virus that's been going around, that cold flu, it took down a lot of people. 80% of the people that were down there ended up getting sick with it, which is really high. And it's very difficult to sing and play when you are not feeling well. And so he still played all the showcases I had lined up for them, as well as the competition, but he only made it through the first round, which is 3 shows. So he did very well, considering.
Considering he wasn't feeling well. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
So
now let's switch topics. And
sure.
You are on the radio? Tell us about that.
So out of the Blues Society, I approached a blues show host that was on Civil Radio at the University of the Fraser Valley in Abbotsford. His name was Chuck Anger, and he has a show by the name of Boogity Shoe Blues Show. He had. Unfortunately, within 3 months of me contacting him, he passed away.
Oh.
So
my
I had been coming on and helping him, and the station approached me and asked me if I would continue on with the show. So I didn't want to take on anything more. However, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And Bill also helps me out with that. He does Bill's Blues birthdays and records all the information that has to be recorded when you do a radio show, such as public service announcements, station IDs, how much talk time we have, and such. So I do Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. And I really enjoy it just because I get to feature a lot of new musicians or new CDs coming out and give our Canadian artists a place where they're being played, and they then start getting on the charts, which is critically important for any musician who's trying to become a professional and advance their career.
Right. Now, do you get paid for this, or is this a volunteer position?
It's all volunteer.
Kind of like what I do here.
It's sort of...
It's for the love of it, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's the passion of arts in particular. I feel very, very strongly that music plays a very integral part to our mental health. Therefore, this perpetuates that. And the other thing that I feel strongly about and am moving towards this year is trying to get more youth involved in music. We were able to sponsor a youth band down into Memphis this year. However, I had no local band to send, and I was approached by Puget Sound Youth Music Association, and we sent a band from Puget Sound under our auspice.
So I'm just going to ask her about her photography, which you mentioned in your bio. Tell us about that.
Well, again, it's something that I do with passion. It's not a paid thing I do at all. However, attending music events and such, I love capturing artists in the midst of what they're doing. You get great expression and movement and color and all those other things, and also capturing the audience participants. One year at the Mount Baker Blues Festival, I decided to take some crazy glasses with me, and I went around the festival getting people to put the glasses on and taking photos.
Oh, marvelous.
So that was so much fun. 250 people put on the glasses, including a lot of the musicians as they were coming into the grounds, in the car, and it was like crazy. It was really crazy because the one pair of glasses were like you were on an acid trip. It was psychedelic, and people would put them on and go like, "What is this?" So it was a lot of fun, and I find it's a way of opening the door and meeting people. So I enjoy doing it for that.
Good. Now let's talk about some of the careers you've had, like the actual paying jobs.
The actual paying jobs. Well, I have a background in technology, accounting, administration. I've been an entrepreneur. I've started a number of businesses, and I've also helped a number of small businesses prosper from being 1 to 2 of us in their basement to being 13 to 15 employees after about 3 years. So I like variety.
No kidding.
And I don't like being bored. So yeah, I am always doing something a little bit different. I don't stay in one place for very long, but I find that that's the spice of life. That's what keeps me young.
So are you envisioning something new that you might be looking towards in the future? Or?
Well, earlier today, one of the things that I did, and one of the reasons why I'm dressed the way I am, is because I went for an interview. I am actually going to start being an event planner for a number of professional associations. So,
what kind of associations? Like what kind of events?
So they are accountants, estate planners, so professionals in that realm, but almost all within the financial or accounting industry.
And so you're doing this because like you have all this time on your hands, right? I'm just trying to figure out how you fit everything in.
Well, you just do. The more you do, the more you're able to do. I find that if I tend to pull back, I do less and less and less. So keeping busy means that I'm able to manage my time really well and fit a lot of things in. I'm able to do it. That my whole life has been that way from a young child.
Yeah. Now speaking about life, do you have siblings?
Oh, I do. I have 9 siblings.
9, eh?
Yes.
We still outdo you, but go ahead.
I know you do.
So where are you in the order?
I am in the middle.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I have 4 older, and then 5 younger than
Right.
me. Yeah.
And now I know you have one son, is that correct?
That is correct.
And tell me about your son.
My son Tanner is 25, lives in Vancouver, has followed in my footsteps in the technology realm. Mind you, I had him sitting at a computer when he was like 6 months old.
So he learned it early.
He learned it very early. He also helped me in my businesses that I had while he was growing up.
Ah.
So he's got a little bit of entrepreneurialism to him as well.
Right.
Works for a company that creates custom programs and websites for nonprofits. So
now when you're not doing all of these, either working or volunteering, or taking pictures, what do you do for leisure time? Again, assuming you
well, the
want
music is a lot of leisure time, right? So we tend to go to music festivals. We take the summer off from doing any of the volunteer work and just go to festivals and have downtime and meet people and just enjoy ourselves. We camp.
Right.
I used to hike a lot. I've had some issues with my ankle the last couple of years, but I like being out in nature. So if I need to go and reflect, I go and sit by water because the sound of the water and the nature. And I love birds. I have this fascination with birds.
Me too.
Yeah, I have to watch because if I'm driving and I notice a bird of prey, I get distracted, and that's not a good thing when you're driving.
I talk to them too. Well, I say hi.
Yes, so do I.
Yeah.
I do that with most animals. So.
Yeah. For some reason, see, people put this on Facebook. You think you should tell your dog that you're going out and coming back, and even though I don't have pets,
right.
but when I dog sit rather, I say,
sit,
yes, of course you do.
Yes.
Like,
well, they are intelligent beings as well. I really dislike when people think of critters as being stupid because they're far from it.
I agree.
And they each have very distinct personalities.
I agree. Yeah, I love animals. Yeah.
Yes, same here.
But we are out of time.
I've had a lovely time. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for coming. And thank you for watching. We hope to see you next time. Peace out.